back with another episode from ChooseYourRelationships.com off of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on Amazon.com. And I got a question from a subscriber, long-time subscriber, 2 years. He's been watching my videos, and he asked, this is probably the best question anyone has ever asked me, man. I have to admit. And I had to sit and think about it, and I had to write my thoughts and ideas down on this one. I had to really think about it. And he said, what are some things that my parents, mainly my mother, should have told me that I would have liked to have known earlier while I was growing up? That's a good question, man. What are some things that I wish I would have known when I was growing up from my parents, especially my mother, about women? Man, that's a good question, man. You know, because first off, I'd like to say I had great parents. My parents were great. You know, my mom passed away 8 months ago, and my dad passed away 3 years ago. I had great parents, man. You know, the thing that I respected about my parents is they never lied to me. Every time I had a question, if they didn't know the answer, they said, hey, I'll get back to you. And they always came back with an answer. And if whatever I wanted to know, regardless of how uncomfortable it was at certain times, they still were patient with me growing up as a kid. And even as an adult, they never shied away from questions, regardless of what question I wanted to know. But one of the things that I wish I would have known as a teenager, especially about women, is women love sex. Yes, women love sex. Now, this is something that you're not going to hear. People don't talk about it. I mean, they'll say, "Oh, these bitches are hoes." Yeah, they'll say that. But when I say women, I'm not talking about the I guess the obvious women. I'm not talking about the women at the clubs, at the church, on the corner. I'm talking about women that you work with, women at your job, women at the church. Some of these women in the church aren't bad. You know, I know. There's a lot of them up in there hypocrites, I know. But I'm talking women at your job, women that you stay next door to, women that you respect, women that you might be related to. Women love sex. And the reason why I wish I would have known this early, because what happened is, see, when I was younger, this caused me to kind of put women on a pedestal, kind of. It caused me to act differently as far as socializing with women. Because you have to understand, and we live in a country where, you know, we treat women like they're nuns. We act like women don't have sex. Guys will meet a woman for the first time, and they'll act like, you know, like he's the first. Like he's like yeah, it's like a lot of guys. It's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? They treat women like they're nuns. They act like women never slept with another guy before. You know, they never talk about the past. They never talk about how she grew up. You know, they don't talk about that stuff until later, if ever, if they even stick around her long enough. So, in America, that's how it is. It's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? Women, it's hard being a woman in just this American society. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's just my opinion. It's hard being a woman because, you know, a lot of women have to suppress their sexuality. You know, you're not supposed to be so expressive about your sexuality. because that makes guys uncomfortable, and women don't like to be judged. So I wish I would have known this when I was younger, in my teens. That way I would have understand more, and I would have came to the conclusion that the average woman and me, we have something in common. We both love sex. You know what I'm saying? So that way I wouldn't have to, you know, act some type of way, and it's just less confusion. I like to keep things simple. So women love sex. That's the first thing, and the next thing is you might never find the right person that's for you. And what I mean by that is if you are a male or female, you might never meet somebody that accepts you for being who you are as a person. You might never meet the right person that's for you. And that's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. Because people will say, well, I believe there's somebody for everybody. And I believe that too. But that doesn't mean you're going to meet them. And the way things are going today in this society, the odds are against it. Because there's so much things stacked up against the traditional male and female relationship. You got the gay community, you got the transgender community, you got all these different sets and sects going on. So depending on where you live, the odds can be in your favor, and and sometimes it's not, and depending on who you are as a person as well. So plus the way we interact with, the way the average person or couple interact with each other, we come off kind of like perpetrating the fraud in most cases. That's what most people do. We feel like we got to become somebody else, become brand new in order to be attractive to the other person. We come off like, in the beginning, we represent one person, and over a couple of weeks, couple of months, that's when the real person come out. So we expose ourselves later. We let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. And I just never seen that work out in most cases. It usually doesn't work. Because now the only reason why a person would strategically go about being fake and phony in the beginning is because they don't have the confidence in themselves. They don't think they're good enough. But eventually, you're going to get exposed, and but at the same time, a lot of times most people that operate like that don't have good intentions anyway, and they don't know how long the relationship is going to last, so they're trying to get out what they can get out from the other person as quick as possible. So I understand that. But if you have good intentions, you have to know that if you're being a fake and a phony, that's not going to work long term. You're going to run into a lot of problems. So it's just good to be who you are up front. They just state your intentions up front. Now I know most people ain't gonna do it, but ultimately it's up to you on how you go about living your life and how you interact with people. Now some people will say, "Well, I don't want to be with no woman. I don't want to be with no man. I don't need them." You're right. You don't need a man or a woman. However, it's unnatural to be without a man or a woman socializing. It's that's what we were put here for. To socialize and reproduce. That's the whole purpose of life. That's what women, that's their number one thing. They're supposed to reproduce. I mean, once you strip back and take away all the dating and spending time together and traveling and holidays and all the rest of that BS, women, their number one goal in life is to reproduce. That's it. So if you're not going to interact and spend time with a woman or have sex with a woman, what you gonna do? You gonna what? Buy a doll, a toy, or I guess get a prostitute every once in a while? If you want to do that, that's cool. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. You know. But so you might live your whole life. You might never find that one person that got your back. So my advice to you is stop spending time with people that you know don't have your back. Start spending time around people or getting to know people that you think at some point y'all will have something together. Some type of friendship, some type of relationship. But if you know there's no chance in hell you're going to be around this person long term, don't waste your time. Just get out, go about your business, and keep it moving. Because see, one of the biggest problems with relationships is there's no camaraderie today. People aren't really together. People live together, they get married, they have kids, but they aren't really together. They aren't really on the same page. So, and this is starting to be common today. You have people together that should have never been together at all. So if you're not married yet, if you're not tied down or got into any commitments that you can't get out of, try to associate with people that got your back, got your best interest, that really like you or accept you for being who you are as a person, as a man or a woman. So that's the second thing. And the last thing is, women can't resist masculine men. And when I say women can't resist masculine men, I mean women can't resist masculine men on any level. On a social level, I mean the aura of who a masculine man is. Women cannot resist those type of guys. They gravitate towards those type of guys. Now, there's some guys that can fake it, but they usually get found out after a while. And see, here's the deal. You don't see many masculine men on television because there's no place for masculine men in this society. See, on television, you see beta guys. Now, on the other side of the coin, women see those guys all the time, and just the image by itself, that's who most women want to be with. So I understand the psychology behind that. However, behind the scenes, they're getting it on with masculine guys. I'm talking like, of course, they date beta guys, and they marry mostly beta guys because that's a part of the status quo, pop culture, because that's what they see on television. But they're not really having fun with these guys. They don't really. These guys, for the most part, are just pawns. They're being controlled. But the guys that they really spend the most fun with, based on my experience, is masculine men. Because, masculine men, it's kind of like a taboo subject that I don't hear a lot of people talk about. And you know, the sex is involved in this as well. Because women love sex. And I think in most cases, women love sex with masculine guys. So a lot of women will try to have the best of both worlds, have their cake and eat it too. They'll get married to the guy that's on television, which in most cases is the beta guy, and they'll sneak off or have some type of relationship or some type of agreement with the husband or her boyfriend to have relations on the side, open relationship on the side with a masculine man. That happens a lot, and it's been happening. It's not new. It's just taboo because you're not supposed to talk about your personal business. You know, so that's understandable. But so women try to have their cake and eat it too. They'll date, get married, create a life with the beta guy, and behind the scene, they'll spend time with the masculine guy. Best of both worlds. And sometimes I've seen certain situations where the masculine guy that they've been in a relationship for a long time, maybe for years, will somewhat become a part of the family. I've seen that happen. It happens. But, I wish I would have known these three things when I was younger. So let's recap. Number one is women love sex. Number two, you might not find the right person that's for you. They really have your back. And number three, women can't resist masculine men. So these are the three things I wish my parents, especially my mother, would have told me about women when I was much younger. But, my mom and my parents taught me a lot of game, a lot of stuff they told me at a later age because they thought I was too young. So I get it. But I miss my parents every day, just like I said. Rest in peace to them. I felt like I had the best parents in the world. And sometimes I feel lucky, because my parents were older, So my mom, she was living today, she'd be 83, and my dad would be like 90 years old. So, with all that being said, if you like what you heard, subscribe to my channel. Check out my blog, chooseyourrelationships.com. And share this video with anyone that you think it would make a difference. So, join my Players Club. So, until next time, I'm out. Peace.